Ninth Doctor. The first time I say Eki Thump. Every planet has a north. That was one of the greatest lines. That just fabulous. I love that line. It was that for me kind of defined that era, right? It was this for me was Shameless meets Doctor Who, which weirdly worked. But when the stories scores are headed this way, which is going south. Commentary by Tom Spilsbury. Now again, they've redesigned how they do these polls to protect Jodie, because she wouldn't be in the top 100.
I've seen it's pathetic that they've had to reset everything to game it to try and give her the tiniest chance of getting something anywhere near the top 30, 40 story.
It's going to be in like the top 12. Just where'd it go? I was just reading that article and it vanished. Oh, there we go. Doink. So let's have a look. So, Empty Child Doctor Dances I think that makes sense, is the number one. After that, Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways, Dalek. Man, these things stay pretty solid, don't they? They've always been Father's Day, Rose, Unquiet Dead. See, I'll put Rose beneath Unquiet Dead. And End of the World. And Aliens of London and World War III. I love that. That's weird.
Yeah, so I'm constantly amazed by how few people like Aliens of London. I think that's superb.
Yeah, I mean, look, granted, Empty Child Doctor Dances is fantastic. And Bad Wolf Parting Away was, I think, the first time we had a really good season finale, right? Which I think really worked. But then, what did I put after that? I mean, Father's Day was very good, even though I can't stand Paul Cornell. Father's Day is just freaking superb.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff.
It really is. But I'll put Aliens of London, World War III after that.
I mean, I like Boomtown and The Long Game, and I would put those towards the bottom. This is such a strong season, but for me, Aliens of London is right up there.
I got it at number 4. That's the highest I can get it. I mean, would you? And then Dalek, I think, after that. Unquiet Dead after that. End of the World after that. Rose after that. Boomtown, then Long Game. There you go. And I like Boomtown.
I can see why Empty Child always gets number 1, but it's and I think it's a fantastic piece of TV. But I enjoy a lot. I enjoy most of the series more than I do that.
All right. Let's have a look where they have to, how they justify themselves. I mean, this is just kind of waffle, though, isn't it? Though Chris Eccleston was in the incumbent on TARDIS for only 13 weeks back in 2005. Did you ever listen to any of his Big Finish stuff?
Yeah, I did only the first 2 box sets. I liked them then, but apparently they've gone drastically down.
Oh, yeah, I've dropped out. There was very good. The first 4 were purchasable and they weren't all good. It's just there was a very good Cyberman story on box set 3 and 4, right? There's a great one from like the 1930s in box set 3 and a current day one in box set 4, which really work well together. All the other ones put those together, and I think the Nick Briggs one, but everything else was just kind of disposable, like very forgettable. Where are we up to? Anyway, his 10 stories are regarded collectively as one of the strongest runs in any incarnation. True, I agree with you. Again, you don't have to find something nice to say like you had to do with but the bullshit he came up with for Jodie was beyond compare. By the way, are you watching Star Trek: Strange New Worlds?
I am, but I'm a couple behind. So yeah,
that was horrible. I finally worked out what the my one-line review of it. It's average, like bog standard streaming service rom-com drama wearing a bad Star Trek skin. It's made for and by chicks. It's not good. It's not Star Trek at all. Anyway, but I digress. Let's get this was Doctor Who though. Where'd I go? Hang on. Doink. We're at. Sorry, from the show's most prolific writer, Stephen Moffat. We'll be hearing more of him next issue, no doubt. Well, yes. If they're at the 10th and 11th Doctors, yeah, I imagine so. They're probably going to do the 10th Doctor in one go and the 11th in another and 13th I don't know because there's they got quite a long thing to do. Anyway, it now refinds a position at the top of the particular charts, having first triumphed in 2005. Season survey was also at the top. Yeah, okay, fine. We know. Being held again as an all-time classic. It is. I mean, I put that up with what's it called? Pyramids of Mars, for example. I think Dr. Dance's Empty Child is Pyramids of Mars, Talons of Weng Chiang range. What do you think?
I can see why it's up there. Like I say, I'm just not as in love with it as everybody else is. I don't know why.
What would be your favorite story from the season?
From series one, my favorite probably Dalek.
Really?
Probably Dalek with Bad Wolf parting of the ways directly underneath it.
I mean, I did like what they did with. I mean, there was a lot good about Dalek, right? It was a great way to reintroduce the villain, right, and understand who it was. And the Doctor's relationship with it, I think, was perfect. I think that really worked well. It's funny looking back, though. It looks so cheap, right? It looks so clearly shot in that stadium they use over and over again.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think a lot of the series is starting to look its age now. In fact, it has been for several years. But
I was going to say, I like the. Like the whole regenerating Dalek thing and how Dalek killed people.
So do I.
Was cunning and clever. What else is good about Dalek? And I don't know, the whole Van Straten thing. I'm not sure I was on board. I don't know.
It's a tough season for me to prioritize because I love the majority of it. But Dalek would be there, and the finale. I think the Unquiet Dead recently rose quite a lot in my estimations too.
See, the Unquiet Dead. I don't know what it was like for you, but for me, it made me feel like I'm back in Doctor Who again. This is the first time it was like recognizably Doctor Who to me.
Yeah,
right. It was a bit
for me, the status that people put on the Empty Child. I accept it. I acknowledge it. It's not that I'm not saying it's great. For me, Aliens of London and World War III are far more alive, and there's a lot more to enjoy. There's so much fun. Virtually every line of that thing is fantastic. I love the story, the villains, everything.
I think the difference is this. I think it was Dr. Dance's where Eccleston worked out how to play the role. And he'd already decided to leave by then. That's
probably true.
So, and I think his performance is more comfortable. I mean, like again, if you're not a classic fan, you can't imagine the thrill of seeing on primetime TV a CGI Slitheen running across the 10 Downing Street, right?
When that two-parter aired, there's been people, my friends and people at the pub, people I've known for years, who had been taunting me about Doctor Who coming back. This is going to fail. It's going to fail so hard. It doesn't matter how much money they throw at that thing. It's always going to fail. Aliens of London was and when it started, even the people who could see that it was high quality were still banging that drum. Oh yeah, well it's not that good because he's leaving, isn't it? There were people who were refusing to admit that it was good. Even the people who are watching with their children. But with Aliens of London, every single one of them came to the pub that week saying, you got me. That was so much fun. We had a brilliant time with it. I can't wait to see the second part.
There's so much great about. I mean, the Big Ben crash. I mean, that was fantastic, right? It was
iconic. And I prefer Russell T Davies as a writer to Stephen Moffat myself. I prefer the way he builds characters and the lines that he puts in their mouths. And for me, Aliens of London is pretty much the pinnacle of what he was doing.
There was a lot of clever stuff they haven't done with Doctor Who before. The coming back and being gone for a year, and Mickey being interviewed by the police all the time, right? That's you're really in this like very
Noel Clarke is fantastic in that in both parts of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, one second. For the final interview with Dalek, as you can tell from the chart, the previous page, the 18 years since the episodes were first brought. 18 years, bloody hell!
Yeah.
Significant shift in there hasn't been a significant shift in fan opinion. It's pretty locked in. with DVD. Yeah, because it's all, you know why? Because this is the first era that was instantly completely accessible to everybody, right? We had to like slowly get those VHSs over the
and piece it together throughout the 1990s.
It was so exciting. I mean, I really enjoyed getting the Rescue in the Romans box set. I was like, that one I was like really psyched for.
Yeah. I bought them all. I bought every single one without question. I didn't pre-order them because they were widely available, but I made a note. I went and grabbed them first day of release.
I pre-ordered it already. That and Babylon 5: The Road Home, both.
I've got both of those on. I always pre-order the Blu-rays, but when it was the VHS tape, so it's just to go and pick them up. But so I've pre-ordered the Babylon 5 thing because I think I feel I owe JMS my purchase of that. Good.
I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll spend a whole evening watching that as soon as it comes. Just noticed somebody in the live chat. But Dan, do you like how Russell T Davies is currently writing for Doctor Who? I'll let you know when I see it, Soda Orange.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, every indication is bad. Every indication is dire. It might not be. That's all we got right now. Right,
it's under the microscope at the moment, and I don't like some of his choices. His casting choices are bewildering me. But as for the writing, you don't know until you watch the bloody thing. It's that simple.
I don't know. There's such a focus.
Other opinions are available, obviously.
Right, there's such a focus on trans representation. Like enough. Oh, yeah, okay. Turn the gay down, Russell. Right, turn the gay down. I've got concerns. I would say I've got concerns about how the show is being run and promoted. But as for the writing, I'll judge that when it's on. Do the old-fashioned way. Anyway. Meanwhile, although Long Game remains at the foot of this shortlist, it might. There's been one other intriguing position chase: Alien London's World War III, the blockbuster two-part story reintroduces Levine. Introduced from I'm not going to try and say it. Now slips more to a low-key contemplative sequel, Boomtown. So I think the reason that is having like big event episodes isn't a big event anymore, right?
Yes, perhaps you're right. Yeah,
and then people are just like, so what? Right? It was the first one, right? It was the first one. It was like, I mean, listen, we had. I think End of the World was kind of event, but making it a two-parter made it like much better. And you had the awesome special effects, a very, very different Doctor Who. The Space Pig, everybody loves the Space Pig, right? The weird introduction of Torchwood a year early without knowing about it. Right? It's it's great. It's not the first time we've seen this turnaround. The Silurians for an initial whatever, blah 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 blah. Next is the 10th, 11th Doctors. They are doing both of those. Let's see what they say about the top. What are the top three? Ninth Doctor run was brief but so pivotal. Blah blah blah. The whole season has been a strong special. Okay, third place goes to Dalek. Third place. I will push it higher. I agree with you. In which writer Robert Sherman constructed a type of Dalek story influenced by X-Files and Alien. Yeah, did it feel like a Dalek story or did it feel like a contemporary sci-fi drama?
Contemporary sci-fi drama, Dalek.
I think they feel much more like Dalek stories now, right? It's like now it's introducing this weird new alien. Yeah, it was, very well done as well. And they've never been done before on TV. Choosing this method to reintroduce the Doctor Who's top billed monsters was a stroke of genius. I never touched it. Making the apocalyptic adversary just one Dalek, very clever. I agree with you, right? Howdy was the nearest town, Salt Lake City, the population 60,000, all dead, right? I remember that in the trailer was awesome.
Because lines like that and the fear, the sense of threat in that stayed with children. I know I was raising children at the time and going to the playgrounds at the time and seeing them when I was taking my own kids. It captivated them all. And things like that, they watched the thing over and over again. So when the Daleks came back later in the season and there were so many of them, the kids had remembered this. The way the entire season was plotted, I wouldn't say it was genius, but it was completely right.
I would say it's genius, right? I would say this is TV
American shows have been doing that for quite a long time. Joss Whedon had been doing that on Buffy for several years, but to bring it to British television was a big deal. And for kids just under 10, any kids between the age of 6 and 10 to be swept up in it, and for it to strike that right balance, but scary but not horrific. It's tougher to do than people think. To be that compelling, that captivating, and to do so in such a fun way as well. It was a very special summer. That was.
Yeah, I forgot it was in the early summer. Right. Anyway, wait. So one Dalek making every potential aspect of their design silent deadly. The plunger attack is brilliantly grisly. Yes. Great use of CGI as well. Was the perfect move. It's the ideal way to reintroduce the viewers. Yes, he's basically saying what you said. That story perfectly teamed up with Sirius and Ali at number 2. So parting of the ways. Another TV drama blockbuster SF movies with unscripted entertainment. But also with unscripted entertainment shows. I forgot we had Bad Wolf. Yeah, so he does take again, this is Rusty Davies when he's good, right? He's able to look at the current world and skewer it. They see it through his point of view. But man, I'm scared of what his point of view is now. I'm scared he's bonkers.
He opened things up in a very kind of in almost a Roddenberry way, and left you to form your own conclusions. And he was doing that pretty much all the way through his original run as well. Right. And so when you go back and watch them now, it's incredible writer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried this was his heyday.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. I mean, Nolly was very strong, but it was nowhere near as good as a very British Scandal.
A pleasant, side thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it didn't have the grandeur that his Doctor Who had, which really did have. Like all the Christmas specials, they were just so big. What's the one where he's on the Titanic crashing into Earth? It's
Voyage of the Damned.
Yeah. Again, they're all such he's very good at doing this, right? So I think we can probably expect to see that. It's just going to see so much agenda at the same time. I wish he could get out the bubble, right? Anyway, so but he actually chewed them up. Those shows chewed them up and spat them out. When it was first broadcast, you could only smile at the audacity of the Doctor in the Big Brother house. Yes, that was brilliant, right?
See, again, that sounded awful. Just like the Space Pig. I was never worried about it as such, particularly when I saw the list of writers. But when they teased the Space Pig and the Doctor were going to the Big Brother house, I thought this is so on the nose. There's no way the show's going to pull this off, and they did. It was brilliant,
right? See, again, this is Rusty Davies when he had a perfect judge of culture, right? I just hope he still has.
The evidence is pointing to him not. I don't think he's not as on the ball as he thinks he is.
No, he's not. No, he's not. And listen,
and that's the same with most. He's a 60-year-old man. That's the same with a lot of 60-year-olds. So I'm hoping that the people that he's like Scott Hancock that he's working with, is a script editor there, and various other people. They're in the mix as well.
But I think it's out of his hands, right? I think it's out. Honestly, do you see Disney Plus being intact in 2 years from now? It might not be there, all right? Well, firstly, do you know there's a new currency being introduced in August? Did I talk to you about this?
No.
Fine. So there's a new gold-backed currency for the BRICS countries. That's the alliance of Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, and South Africa, right?
Okay.
South Africa? I can't remember. Anyway, so they're kind of like the bad guys. So the reason the dollar is so powerful is because you need to buy dollars to buy oil, essentially, right? There was a that's it's called the petrodollar. It was set up by basically it was run by it was a sanction with Saudi Arabia and OPEC. You need to buy dollars to buy oil. So you have these countries which are being sanctioned, and they're saying, "Well, screw you. We're going to start our parallel economy." And this is another place that one could buy oil. 41 countries have already signed up to it. So if this currency launches, you can expect to see the dollar being halved or quartered within a week, like instantly.
Wow.
And I
did hear something about that, but I hadn't heard about this new currency.
Right. But yeah, no, there's just no way of avoiding it, because the only strength that America has is by, through the barrel of a gun at that point, which they are going to use. They called up reservists to go into active combat duty in Ukraine. I think the only way to avoid this currency launching is to massively escalate the war in Ukraine, which I think they're going to do. But either way, Disney, both you in England and me in Israel, we have a dollar-based economy. The sterling is based on the dollar, as is the shekel, right? It's you don't have the strength of one without the other. And if the dollar goes, everything goes, right? We're all living in poverty very, very quickly, which is, basically we are now, but it's going to, they've been predicting a collapse of this for about 10 years now. But anyway, it looks like it's coming. But anyway, the way to avoid it is to escalate the war in Ukraine, probably to a nuclear level.
In Britain, the governments are desperate to lock us down over a new virus that Matt Hancock, of all people, is talking about. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
What's this new virus?
I have no idea. Some bug that's killing 40% of people that it comes into contact with, or something. They are itching
for another lockdown. They love the lockdown, right? Yeah. How do you get a politician hard? You give them a lockdown, right? I mean, I think giving them a lockdown is a new thing they have at kinky sex clubs. That Charles is currently slamming his balls into a drawer, as we mentioned earlier. God bless the king. Anyway, let's finish this off. Where are we up to? I don't see season 15 happening the way they think it's going to be happening. I don't see season 14 happening. Maybe I don't see the specials going down like he thinks, right? I think Disney may be in a point where they have to break it up and sell off the component parts. Even the parks are empty right now. Anyway,
it's important to say that series 14 of Doctor Who was happening whether Disney Plus got involved or not. I believe
they needed some international distributor.
That's true. But bear in mind they'd got Sony on board already. It was always going to get made, and I suspect it was the case with series 15 as well. But obviously, if Disney are affected by all of this, then it is possible that there'll be a sort of trickle down effect that could compromise Doctor Who in some way.
And also I said this many times. The social currents have changed, and I don't know if there is if Disney does go down, it will be because of this, right? I don't know. There's a desire for this over the top trans representation, right? That just may be economically a thing of the past, and they would reshoot the trans scenes. That could really happen.
Well, I think that David Tennant's recent choice of apparel, shall we say, for the purposes of YouTube, I believe that he's done serious damage to the 60th anniversary episodes internationally by wearing that shirt.
Yes, he has.
It's his choice. Obviously, he can wear what he wants, but that was very foolish.
Schmuck, right? He was a schmuck. This is a very, very divisive issue. And the thing is, though, the people who are very supportive of the trans community don't really understand the issue, right? And they think they do. Here's what I worked out, by the way. You know that how do you manipulate and control educated, intelligent women, right? If you tinge a story by saying there's some kind of female control female suppression going on.
Yes, subjugation of some sort.
Subjugation. They will all I had this by one of my feminist friends were around the other day, and we just got onto the subject, right? And it was amazing to me because like the trans way of worldview is so unbelievably hostile to women and like misogynistic. It's just like, you know, it treats being a woman as if you can dress up and like, it's like saying if I do blackface, I'm a black person. No, I think that it's you know, and I think. But you're so easily to be manipulated if you press the right buttons.
It is. It's a curious thing, isn't it? You cannot fail to notice it, and yet we're told that it's not there, or that we're bad people for noticing it. I mean, they're the ones that are shouting it. There's lots of people. I mean, this isn't everybody of that community by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
but a significant proportion of people who belong to who live that life are continually shouting these things and physically assaulting women. There's no way of getting around that.
It's you know, like sometimes this is how I end up being blocked by Ben Cook, which I'm very happy about. He was ranting about people not accepting trans women, and he said that, like, some women didn't want trans women in the changing room or something, and he said why? I said, well, some women don't want to change in a space with people with penises, be they female or not. He lost his shit, right? He just lost. He went like he couldn't stand it. But yeah,
because he knew you were right.
Right, that's the problem, and that's why I think we have so much need for validation. Anyway, well, let me say what I was saying. I was just talking about this. Davis remarkably facility for juggling styles. That's also true. And tones comes to the fore in the parting of ways. The story takes a left turn out of all-out war and a strange epic love story. These episodes do a lot, and they do it all superbly. I forgot about the jarring. Suddenly Rosa's eating chips, and like they're using a forklift, like a truck, to get the TARDIS open.
It's brilliant.
Very power state. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, and now you would disagree, but seriously, how did you manage to choose between that and The Empty Child and Dr. Dancers? Well, they did. Well, he did. And Stephen Moffat's Blitz set horror, I think the historical setting also made this made it feel like Doctor Who, but new Doctor Who, because we hadn't had a historical setting of World War II before.
It's very, very popular with classic Doctor Who fans, more so than the rest of the series. And because it's very fondly remembered by people who came in with the new series too and may have seen it when they were very, very young, and it became very memetic. Are You My Mummy was a meme, I think, before there were memes.
It was everybody knew it, and because it worked so well, it was very chilling.
People still say, "Are you my mummy?" They still put that on T-shirts. I can't deny the significance of those two episodes. They're just not as much to my taste. That doesn't mean to say I think they're bad at all. I'd never skip them. I always get something out of watching them again. But I just prefer several other episodes of the season. Other opinions are available.
Okay, the story puts on a swagger and achieves exactly what it's aiming for. There's so much enduring imagery here, from the gas mask transformation scene, very good, a genuine shock on the first viewing. And you expect the mask to conceal a monster, not be the monster. Very good point. And Stephen Moffat thought he was doing it on the cheap, but apparently they had to make all those masks. To get to Jack sitting astride a bomb, B-52, that was good at the end. Like Dr. Strangelove, just once, everybody lives, Rose. Everybody that is true. It becomes a cornerstone moment for the character. Completely agree. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.